Hello, beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature like Starlight is. Woo! So here we are. And Starlight is doing something different today. And I hope you're able to get out in nature like Starlight is. And this is a beautiful park. It's not too big. And what's great is that at this park, they have these. This is perfect the way they have this. They have outlets here. They actually work. They have a spot, to cook on. And this is perfect. I wish all the parks had all this. And then they also have water, and it runs. It works. I did my dishes. And besides, there's some shelter here. So if it rains, and a picnic table and some cement underneath, which is really awesome instead of dirt. So, but anyway, this is what this is about today is we all have a choice. But before I start saying anything more is welcome to all of you. Thank you for coming here and visiting Starlight. And on this YouTube, man, I'm like stepping in this stuff here. It's gross. So don't mind Starlight. Thank you all of you who love and support Starlight, and anyone that would love to send love donations. Starlight really would love to receive any love donations because I do things. And I didn't have a broom, but today I have a broom. So now I'm doing more than I was before. And so anyway, you could do that, and I will put my Cash App information here. Ping, there it is. And now I'm gonna start. Hello, my name is Starlight. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and you can find me on YouTube, and that is at Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman. Plus, don't forget you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, plus give me a thumbs up, and you can also leave a message down below, beep, beep, beep. And you can share my videos with your family, your friends. Don't forget to ring the notification bell, and you can check out my playlist. Plus, you can find me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman Starlight. So, today's video is about we all have a choice in life. I could go around at this park and complain about, look at this, look how dirty this is, all this, the leaves, dirt, there's, I don't even know what kind of, if this, was a dog or, did something die here? I don't know, but it's like some kind of fur, all this stuff. The tables are nasty, there is a lot of stuff all around in here. So when you go here, it doesn't feel that great. And I got all my stuff on here because this is really is out here. But I just want to show you things that Starlight is. Now that I have a broom, I do wipe tables down when I go and sit at a picnic table. But today is about we all have a choice. We could walk around and point at all the negative things because, believe me, there's a lot of negative things out in this world. And yeah, we can make a big fuss and say, look at this park, they don't keep it clean. The picnic tables, every single place that I've gone at a park, all the parks are like this. Some of them are worse than others, where nobody keeps up on cleaning the picnic tables, keeping them clean, wiped down, or even, to repaint some of them. Some places I actually noticed where they actually repainted some things at a park. There's a lot of painters out there that paint houses, and they got so much paint, they don't know what to do with. If you're a painter, you could donate that old paint, because I knew a guy, his basement, I cleaned for him. He gave me lots of paint, and then I gave it away to my brother. Is that you can either be a commander or a bystander. And I'm making this videos because I seen a couple not too long ago when we were all at the store, And they the couple had a shirt. They both had the same shirt on. I was like, what's that shirt? You know, they both wearing the same thing, and they were bright, like yellow and orange. You know, they really stood out. You couldn't miss it. And that's what their shirt said is, you know, you can be a commander or be a bystander. And Starlight is a commander. I am one that will, you know, we can all sit here and, you know, look around in all different towns. Now, I do know at some, you know, definitely at parks, if you want to do more than just, you know, sweeping up and cleaning tables off, like I got bleach here in this, I'll show you really quick. This container here has got a bleach tablet, so it's just doing it's dissolving. And I got a friend here because they feed the squirrels out here and they're nuts. So it's like, Starlight, do you got any nuts? Speaking of nuts. So anyway, as we can go around, and like I was saying about parks, one thing that you don't want to do because you can get in a lot of trouble. So, because I learned this from Schenectady, New York, there was a beautiful, out in Troy, New York, is that there was a beautiful park that I went to. It was huge. It was beautiful. As somebody went there, a whole group of people, their heart was in the right place, but they did things that they didn't go and get permission. And, you know, there was a lot of hurt people. Their hearts were, you know, hurt because they really meant well, but they didn't, you know, reach out to the park and say, hey, can we, you know, repaint this? Because it was Uncle Sam, I think it was, some kind of memorial thing that they had just for him, and it had all these signs. And they went in, and teenagers went in there with spray paint. They sprayed, you know, they took parts off, or adults. It's not always the teenagers, guys and girls, that are, you know, corrupt, you know, like destroying places. It's actually adults too, and other people out there with unclean spirits or mental, you know, problems that they have, or just, you know, there's all kinds of people out there. It doesn't matter. It could be anyone at any given time of the day or night. But they ruined the place, and I used to sit in it. I'm like, wow, I love going to parks, and they got the octagon shape, you know, buildings, and I love going in there and studying them, and that's what I did at this park. So you just don't want to go in at a park. It's okay that you sweep up and clean tables off, but any more than that, you're going to want to go and ask permission, because your name might go in the newspaper like it did, like this group of people. That's what happened to them. It ended up being in the newspaper because the town flipped out when they seen what they did. They changed words around because they had different words for this memorial for Uncle Sam. And so the meanings changed, you know. I had to look up a lot of those meanings. What is this? What is that? You know, so Starlight, I was having a ball. I was having such a fun time, and I wanted to paint the place too, and I was thinking about doing it. When I was living in my own apartment, I would have gone out and bought the paint, you know. And it's a good thing that the universe showed me, Starlight, don't do that. You'll get in a lot of trouble. So, and because I was curious to what Uncle Sam was all about. So this video is to inspire those of you out there who you know, walk around and, you know, the way society is, you know, we always got something to talk about, or gossip or drama or something like that. Like, you know, the news, you know, is negative, low vibrational stuff. So the way our society is, you know, people are drawn to that low vibrational stuff. You know, so there might be people, and I've gone to so many parks, and I'm like, I wanna clean this up. You know, I could complain about it, or I could do something about it. And so, and that's why I have a YouTube channel, you know. There's a lot of people out there. You're either doing something or you're not. You know, you're out there doing something by taking action, you know, not expecting everybody else to do the work, you know, or you're getting your ass out there and you're looking for something to do. You're looking, you know, we all have gifts and talents. We all have things that we can do. I used to pull weeds at parks, at a park out in Gloversville, New York. I used to rake lots, lots of leaves and lots of leaves. I got a lot of compliments. People loved what I was doing because there was trails, but you couldn't see them. So Starlight took all her extra time, and it was a way of keeping my ass out of trouble, is going out and volunteering somewhere. But before I say any more, so now, okay. So yes, I did volunteer a lot. My name was in the newspaper. My mother does this all the time. She doesn't work, but she works her ass off. And you know what? Even though my mother does not work for the town or the city or whatever, God, the universe, pays her. She doesn't know it though. She does not know that she gets paid. She only gets like disability money or whatever, whatever she gets for a month. And she takes her own money, goes out and buys plants, and goes out and does some work. Right now she can't because it's wintertime. But she's been in the newspaper many times for not complaining about stuff. She does, I gotta say, she does complain about stuff. But you know what? Just like me, I could come here and say, oh my, look at how messy this is. But I'm doing something about it. That's the difference. You can complain and do something about it. Say, hey, they ought to have this cleaned up. Anytime I go to a park, I'll show you. I'll just take a really quick walk over here. I already cleaned up one of these little spots because somebody was at this picnic space here. So I didn't wipe the top, but the park anyway. So, there's a lot of people, they complain, about this and about that. And like my mom, she does complain a lot, but she's out there doing it, she's out there. So look at this one. Starlight did the groundwork here, the cement. And look at this, Starlight already did this today. Isn't it better looking? If I had a mop, and the table is, it's got some, I didn't clean the table up, but doesn't this look much better? The energy would be so much better, with things cleaned up. So that is what Starlight did already today once I got here. And like I said, I couldn't, now that's why I'm starting at a different spot here, because there's things at this picnic table, the outlet is different. I can plug different plugs in there so I can cook. So who are you? Are you the guy or girl that complains about all these different things? How about some of you guys, there's places you might have so much paint, like I said, painters, I knew a guy had so much paint, he was, giving it away. Otherwise, because he would paint houses and he always had leftover paint. And he knew I liked doing arts and crafts, so I got tons of paint. I could have had so much paint, but I didn't have the space for it. And so there's people that have things, in their house, even like women with, cleaning supplies. If we all got together like a family all around the whole, the world, United States mainly, because that's where I am, if we just used our own talents and our gifts and our creativity, and volunteered, but get permission first. Like, I don't need to, hey, can I sweep this all up? It looks like crap out here. No, this is something I can do, without asking permission, because, this is, really, I'm going to complain right. But, some kind of dog hair, or I don't know, sometimes animals die and then the first, but this is here. This is what I walked into, This is, it shouldn't look like this. And that's why Starlight is out here doing about it instead of, I can complain, but I'm doing something about it. So what side of the fence are you on? Are you on the side that complains and does shit about it? Or are you on the side that says, you know what, I want to do something about this? And Starlight is a problem solver. There's people out that I want to meet them. I'm like, oh, where's that guy? He wants to, he loves the animals, and he knows that feeding bread to the birds is really bad for him. And Starlight came up with a solution that helped this man out. But where did the guy go? So I am a problem solver here. And that's why I make videos. That's why I go out and I help the homeless people out. And besides other things that I'm working on. But what are you doing? What are you doing that can really help and benefit the community? Because we ought to act like family. And, when people go to that table, if I just left this one like this, and they found that one all nice and cleaned up, except for the table's not wiped down, what table do you think they're going to sit at? I guess it depends on the kind of energy that they are. There's people that are low energy. They might not even, it might not even bother them to sit, and have this all around. Like it's great to where people can have parties, and have, somebody just threw their trash here. That could be I'm going to check that scratch off ticket, see if it's a winner. Imagine that. I used to do that a long time ago. It's kind of fun. We'll throw their trash around, but throw winners of scratch off tickets, because I found lots of them when I was younger. So anyway, we all have a choice. I'm here saying, what are you doing? What are you doing to make a difference? Are you just going around complaining, being a bystander? Or are you a commander, getting busy, I am rich and I am abundant. I am prosperous. Even though I am rich and I am abundant, I have no income coming in. I make videos. My YouTube is growing, and I needed a broom. So I went and I asked for a broom today, and I got a broom. I might have had one person that gave me a hard time over asking about getting a broom today. And what it was is it's kind of funny, because this broom here, it's a 2-piece, but at the Dollar Tree, it's only a Dollar Tree, so they sell it in 2 parts. So I needed to buy both parts. I couldn't buy a cheapie, this is as cheap, like there's cheap brooms out there, but I had one man that I asked. I had $1.75 that one person gave me, and I thank God for that person that was so sweet to help me out. And all I needed was the rest of the money for just a broom, just a broom, so I can help clean up. And one man got so mad because I said he took my money, he was going to just go in and pay for the rest of the broom. And he's like, it's kind of funny because he asked me the question, what kind of broom do you want? Well, there's one that's got 2 pieces in there, and that's the one that I really want. And he got so upset. He didn't even want to help me out to get a broom. He gave me the money back. Here, you go get your broom. It's at the Dollar Tree, So I am so grateful for the ones that are out there that are willing to, it costs like, I don't even know how much that broom cost. 3 something, just for a broom to help out and clean up the community. So if I can go out here, even though I'm rich and abundant, I had to ask help to get this broom. And that's why I definitely could use love donations, because cleaning supplies and different things like that. But I am so grateful for that there's people out there that said, hey, yeah, I would love to help you out, so then these parks can get cleaner. No, I don't see anybody cleaning up this stuff. I've never seen anybody cleaning up, maybe one lady actually, so we all have things that we see things out in public, but what are we doing about it? There's a lot of volunteers out there helping out the homeless people, and all kinds of volunteers. So I am so grateful with the ones with the right heart attitude, and they're sweethearts. I met a whole bunch of sweethearts this morning, older folks. So some people, they think, oh, I'm too old. No, you're not. Unless you have a hard time walking around and stuff like that, or you got health problems, we all can jump in somewhere. There's all kinds of different little things that we all can do one way or another. So think of something that you could do where you're you're being a commander, not a bystander. We got a lot of bystanders, but how about stepping out and jumping in? Because that is what I'm going to do right now. So, all right, so Starlight just swept this whole thing up, and I don't know. I'll have to look like how many minutes it took, for how long does it take to sweep, a small little, this is not square, I don't think. So, well, maybe it is square. I'm looking at the cement work. So Starlight did, like, it's not perfect, but look at that. Doesn't that look a whole lot better than, what it looked like before? And so, and how much did this cost Starlight? Really nothing. The universe, blessed me with someone that helped me out by giving me money so I can go get a broom. $3 and, maybe 75 cents or something like that, and how many minutes, it didn't even take it, a half hour, so you could be one of those people that go on your phone and leave there's reviews that I've seen on at parks or different places, that are really, nothing positive. Everything was negative about, their reviews. So we can either, go online and leave. I don't leave negative reviews. I only focus on the good things, what people are doing, and I go up to them. I do this everywhere I go. When somebody is doing such an excellent job at their company, I don't say it the first time. I wait for a while and see if they're going to be this, that way every day, or just maybe I just hit them on a good day, and then the next day, they treat me like crap. So I don't, give compliments right away, but sometimes I do. Like, I went to a food bank and everybody was so sweet, and I felt like family with these people, women, all these women, like my mom's age, so we can, just go on and, leave negative reviews, at parks or different places, or we can actually do something about it, there's some things we can't do anything about, like at parks, because it's, like the mowing is, like, they're not going to want you to go there and mow the grass, but, inspire people, focus on their, how good they're doing, the areas that they are doing, and it really will help them out to even work harder, doing things. And not every park has the same amount of money, and even though we're abundant, there's tons of money. It's a joke what they do, because there's plenty to go around. There's lots of money, but they put it more on the war. That's where the money is going, is to kill people, and to have all these military people, out there. That's what it's about. It's not about, like other things that are important, like helping the homeless people. They do help out with the homeless people, but, the homeless people need more help. So you're either a bystander or you're commander. Which one are you? And I'd like to believe that you're doing something. It doesn't have to be what I just did today. It could be all kinds of stuff. So be creative, and, when you see somebody doing a really good job, give them credit, Don't say it the first time you see them, but if you see that, the park looks beautiful, go right up to the people and say, I appreciate, this park. I come here all the time. It's beautiful. Thank you for all the hard work that you do. I do that everywhere I go, even at libraries, when people are doing a really good job at a library, I say, hey, you know what? Thank you for helping us out on the computers. We need you. Not every library, has workers that know what they're doing on a computer. So be appreciative of those people out there, even if you have people on YouTube. You know, they might not be perfect like Starlight, but say, Starlight, you know what? We see that you got flaws. Yeah, I do. I got flaws. But thank those people that are out there sticking their necks out. Like I always thank my mentor for all the things that he does, how he inspires people on an everyday basis. So we need people like that. So I love you so much. And I hope you get a lot of help from this video. So really focus on the positive things that are doing, because it's so easy, you know, to find dirt. You know, it's so easy. You know, dirt is everywhere. But, you know, focus on, you know, inspiring people and, you know, helping people and being a help. We're family. So if we all jumped in, you know, this, you know, here I'm in the United States. United States everywhere would look so beautiful, because, and we'd all get, you know, we'd actually would appreciate people more because we're all working together, you know. So I love you so much. This is Starlight. Thank you for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, give me a thumbs up, and you can leave me a message down below. Beep, beep, beep. Plus, you could share my videos with your family or friends, and don't forget the notification bell, and check out my playlist. And you can also find me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman, Starlight. Thank you for watching. This is Starlight. Namaste. This is Starlight. Love, light, and peace.